Okay. This video is to update mainly on my rheumatoid arthritis and what direction it's deciding to take. So I was on Humira for like 4 or 5 months, and I didn't have any issues with it. I loved it. It was amazing. I was able to do some yoga. I was able to stretch, and my hamstrings have been locked for years and years. So I was finally able to stretch those out and get some flexibility and range of motion, and it was great. I didn't notice anything going wrong with it, like when I injected it, I would get maybe a little small, it was kind of itchy at the injection site, but it was nothing I needed to worry about, It's in the side effects, it says that it's going to happen like that, so I didn't think much about it. But the more and more I took it, the more I noticed my immune system going down. Like, if I have a puppy, and if he bit me or scratched me, broke the skin in any way, it didn't heal. No matter what I did, it took a very long time to heal. And I figured, it's probably because of, my immune system, nothing to worry about. And so when I injected the Humira and that little red raised area started growing bigger and bigger, I didn't think much about it. I just thought, it's going to take longer to heal. And eventually it got to the point where the welt, I guess, because it was red, raised, and itchy, was about this big, and it would grow throughout the week, and then it would fade into a bruise that would be that, I don't know, that big. And again, I didn't think much of it. It was kind of entertaining to watch. But about a week after I injected it, I started noticing, like, how do I describe it? Like, being on the verge of passing out. Like, every time I exhaled, I thought, oh my God, I just don't have the energy to inhale. And I thought it was due to my eating and not eating enough, not eating the right things. So every time that would happen, I would just try to eat. And eventually it got so bad one day that I was in rehearsal and this whole episode happened. My legs just gave out from under me. I couldn't, I worked myself up into a panic attack because I didn't know what was going on. And the paramedics just were like, it was a panic attack, everything's okay. So I decided to go home. I didn't want to go to the hospital or anything, especially not for a panic attack, because my heart was acting funny. And so I went home and just said, okay, I need to recheck my life, make sure I've got every stress in check, But I took the Humira a week later, and the same thing happened. I was just unbelievably, like, I passed out because my blood pressure went so low before, and I felt exactly like that, the tunnel vision, and I just, it was a really bad feeling, and my heart would race and it would slow down. It was very awkward. I just felt really weak, And so I asked my friend to take me to the hospital. I said, this isn't a panic attack. I'm not panicking. There is something going on. So we went to the hospital and they hooked me up to a bunch of things, ran tests, blah, blah, blah. And while they were running tests, my friend and my mom said, you know what, this happened 2 weeks ago on this same day, you know. And they kind of put together that maybe it could be from the Humira. So I talked to them and I talked to the doctor and we said, well, and we looked at the Humira side effects and we said, well, it's probably the Humira. So I left the hospital and I went the next day. I made an appointment with my rheumatologist. And I told her everything that was going on, and she was kind of annoyed. She was just like, why didn't you tell me this sooner, you know? Because I finally told her about the injection site reaction, and I didn't think much of it. But she's like, you cannot take Humira anymore. So she decided to put me on Cimzia. It's in the same class of drugs. It's still a TNF blocker and everything, but they use different, I guess, chemicals and preservatives and everything. And she thought that the Cimzia would, it might work as well as the Humira, or it might not. So, I did my, and with the Cimzia you get 2 syringes. It's not in an auto-inject pen, but I don't really care at this point. So you can either do 2 shots at once, or you can do 1 every 2 weeks. And the first time I did it, I was like, well, the Humira was every 2 weeks. Let me continue doing this every 2 weeks. So I put 1 in, and at this point, Humira was completely out of my system, and the Cimzia wasn't built up, so I was in a lot of pain. It sucked, and I did the first one, and a week later, I was like, this has got to build up. You know, it's got to do something. So I went ahead and did the second one a week later instead of 2 weeks later. And I didn't notice any difference. I was still in a lot of pain. I still am in a lot of pain. So I went back to my rheumatologist and I said, you know it's only been a month, but I can't go on like this. I'm in a lot of pain. Sorry. And she's like, it's got to build up in your system. It is a different medication than Humira, And I understood that. And I also told her about this burning feeling I got in my stomach. I mean, it wasn't an intense burning, but it was very uncomfortable. And I told her, it sometimes got better when I ate, and I kind of would pass it off as just hunger pains or something, but it was different than a hunger pain, And she's like, you have an ulcer. I said, what? So basically, because of this ulcer, I have to see a GI doctor, and she's like, I'm not surprised. We've blasted your system with all these anti-inflammatories and steroids and all this. And so until I see the GI doctor, she changed the medicine she put me on to protect my stomach. It was Prilosec. She changed it to Protonix, I think it's called. It's whatever this is. It's not gonna focus enough, but yeah, I can't pronounce it. I don't know if it works better or not. I haven't noticed a difference, but so she put me on that, and I said I couldn't take any anti-inflammatories. I couldn't take the Celebrex. I couldn't take my Celebrex, you know. A lot of the medication I had to stop, and it sucked. Like I'm having to wake up, if I have an appointment at 8, I have to wake up at 5, possibly before 5, in order to get in the shower and try to make myself flexible. It just sucks. I'm so tight. Like, this morning I timed it. It took me 4 hours to make a fist. Like, I woke up, my hands are really swollen, I was just like, I laughed at myself, but it's really stupid. I do have pain medication, but I don't like it. It's a narcotic, and I'm not a fan of narcotics. And they give me a headache. So, anyway, I'm dealing with this, and I took the second dose, it's my second month, on Cimzia, and I went ahead and did 2 at once. So I was like, this is going to build up, and it's going to build up now, dang it. And I do feel better, but pain-wise, but I'm still dealing with a lot of stiffness. It's insane. And a lot of swelling. And, you know, all I can do is heat and ice. So, hopefully this will pass. It will build up, and I can get on with things. Luckily, it's spring break, and I don't have to call in sick or anything. I did have to call in sick last week a couple of times because I just couldn't make it to school or work or anything. But hopefully by next week I should feel a little bit better, and I should know a little bit more about this ulcer I have. So yeah, that was like a really fast version of what's been going on. So I will update you guys on, like, I think after next month I'll update you guys on what I think between Humira and Cimzia. So far Cimzia sucks, but it hasn't built up, so I can't really give an accurate, yeah. So yeah.